Hey everybody, Dustin Thompson here, Chapter Director for the Sierra Club Delaware chapter, continuing on the series on energy policy. Now we're going to talk about PJM. PJM is coming to speak to the Senate and House Environmental Committees next week. So we want to talk a little bit about that. So first, let's start with the basics. And that is, what exactly is PJM? So the grid consists mainly of two parts, the transmission system and the distribution network. The transmission system over here connects the energy generated by power plants, such as solar, wind, gas, or coal plants, to local power stations, these substations. The distribution network connects the energy at these local stations to our then homes and businesses. Many electricity companies in the country have decided to voluntarily work together through organizations called regional transmission operators. So here you see the RTOs across the countries. These regional transmission operators, RTOs, manage how electricity is shared and sold between different companies. So our utility, Delmarva Power, is part of an RTO named PJM. DEC and DMEC are also both in the PJM footprint. And PJM is overseen by the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, federal agency. Now, this cooperation between utilities is essential to make sure that the demand and supply of electricity are always matched. If they were not, then blackouts could occur and grid reliability would suffer. RTOs also oversee power plants and their connection and disconnection processes from the grid, which can vary by RTO, and sometimes it could take years to complete. PJM also holds auctions where local utilities and large energy consumers can purchase power and other grid services. We've heard about the capacity auction, for example. We'll talk about that later. Now, these auctions occur throughout the year with prices fluctuating based on supply and demand. Some utilities can produce their own electricity, and that lowers the amount of energy that they have to go buy on the PJM market, and it also shields them from rate increases when the PJM market prices go up. Delmarva Power is not able to do that. And so it has to buy all of its energy off of the PJM markets. And then they pass that cost on to customers as a supply charge on their monthly electricity bills. This would be that standard offer service charge on your Delmarva bill. Note here that Delmarva Power is not legally allowed to make any money on that charge. They can only pass on what they have to pay. So folks have heard of problems at PJM. So what's the problems at PJM? Over the last few decades, the PJM region has shifted from large centralized coal plants to more distributed energy power plants. Now, this transmission began with the rise of natural gas power plants, which was replacing and is replacing coal due to competitive pricing. You can see here, there's almost a one for one. As gas has come online, coal has come offline. Now, as global awareness of climate change grew, lower carbon energy sources also became a significant focus of protecting our planet. Now, initially, this focus actually remained on shifting to natural gas, and that required really minimal changes to PJM's process for getting plants online. However, as renewable energy technologies like wind and solar improved and became more affordable, utility scale wind and onshore utility scale onshore wind and utility scale solar being now the cheapest energy, according to Lazard's 2024 data, they have increasingly represented a higher proportion of proposed new power plants. Now, unlike conventional power plants, gas and coal, these renewables are intermittent and decentralized, which can be a strength when you're looking at grid resiliency, but it does necessitate significant changes in how PJM scores and connects energy resources. So today, over 80% of the resources attempting to connect to the grid are clean energy. Some years it's up in the high 90s, alongside emerging energy storage solutions like batteries. Now, PJM's processes, you can see here the queue over time. More battery and solar, battery alone, much less coal, almost no coal now, but you still have gas in there. Um, Now, PJM's process for determining to how to add resources to the grid are not designed to figure out how to get these resources online quickly and efficiently, since many of those processes were designed for large fossil fuel-based power plants. Now, unfortunately, PJM has struggled to adapt its processes over the last decade, and in fact are actually challenging regulations from FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission I mentioned, that would help incentivize and clear the PJM queue to get these resources online. And these fights have resulted in a multi-year backlog that has stalled the connection of nearly all new power plants across all the technologies. It's struggling to get gas through and connected to the grid just as much as struggling to get solar and wind connected through to the grid. This challenge coincides with an increasing growth in energy demand, primarily from data centers, cloud storage, AI technologies, and of course, rapid population growth. This limit on new supply, coming primarily as a result of PJM's outdated processes, while a concurrent demand has surged, has led to these increasing prices in the energy markets that you're seeing. Next video, we're going to talk about the capacity auction, which a lot of folks are hearing more and more about.